Right on Bravo, short A right at Delta 2158. Delta 2523, contacting departure. Good night, y'all. Departure, Delta.
Alert the affiliates. We're coming on about a half hour early tonight to take advantage of the twilight lighting.
Receiving Tower, 2128, visual 9 right. Oh, Echo, at the approach end, cross runway 8, taxi to runway 8 right. 8 right, south of Bravo, Cobalt. Delta 3058, use Charlie, cross 8 right, Charlie, door 5 south. Runway right, line up the way, traffic. Copy, I'm going to point here. Flight tower, say one. Say one tower. That's 81,600, like 85. Please center 1, 5 arrival is Route, into the Bravo, altimeter 3019, landing over cautious. 319, at our ready, 470 Delta, cross 8 right, Foxtrot, 9 traffic holding position. Please turn 1, radar contact. I'm all north, altitude indicates 1,600. Radar contact 1,600. Fish 105 power, clear land 8 left, and wind 0 to 8. Bravo, Echo Golf, pull up to it. If you can, for the whole short line, please. We'll do that. Bravo, Echo Golf.
Now at the approach end now. Over to 9 right at the approach end. Delta 1700, turn left, over and hold for the Papa.
November, Papa, Delta 1700.
Endeavor 5115 at across 111, Lima, contact now. Have a good night. Attention all our customers, Texas Big at 62 Eastern, bound 155 Zulu for areas of subject north, available on Holland for contact measurement.
The 446 heavy for 9 west, we're 11 miles out.
446 heavy,
02 on that circle, to left, say left. Ground, I don't mind that, negative.
Have a good night there. Well, left line Lima, contact now for 7 o'clock. It was never 50 across 111 Lima, headed around Clinton. Dallas 3699, target number 2, wind 0908, runway 26, with landing cross right turbulence, heavy Airbus. Delta 2128, turn to taxi possible.
Left on the hold short of Papa, Delta 2128.
330, Arnett. That's runway 9 left at line 2, closer right off.
Arnett, let us clear takeoff 9 left, line 2.
Live from the Runway DFW penthouse, it's Runway DFW After Dark. Live from Atlanta, to be specific, Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta International Airport.
02, contacting Atlanta departure. Good night.
Hello there, Chip, and everybody. Very happy to have you along for the ride this evening. We're going to do our best to put on a show for you.
Continue down to the approach and hold short of runway.
It's cooled down a bit. The weather is really nice.
See you later.
A little humid, but not too bad.
Great rest of the day, Delta.
One difference
Sure,
between
Will, you too, my
DFW
friend.
Airport and Atlanta is they use a lot more
1606
tugs than DFW does to move planes from point A to point B. There's two cases there in the shot, right there.
Right, clear for takeoff. Clear for right aircraft. It's Alpha Bravo to call. Thank you.
We've got Delta 2714 coming in from, I want to say, Toronto, 737-800. We're going to flip camera 1 around. Take a look at that. Well, wait a minute. We've got this, I think it's a military tri-jet.
Flight 2217.
Flight 2217, now time was 1007.
I couldn't make out the markings on it, but I'm pretty sure that I saw it go past our broadcast position earlier. It looked like it had like a Navy insignia on the tail. And I don't know if that's the case. We probably don't see it on the radar. Oh, wait a minute. No, that was a private owner, a Dassault Falcon 900 LX, off to Monterrey, Mexico. Yeah, it does look like it has some kind of military insignia on the back, but I guess it isn't. Channel member White Buffalo Coffee says TGIF. We say hello to Devin Bards, bringing us some cheer from Melbourne. And Chip says, I never upgraded to the penthouse. I'm lucky if I get an outhouse. Ba-dum-bum.
The P3, charging right now, right?
Southwest 2271.
So anyway, we have this concourse over here.
South 1097, rolling 1.
I believe it says Atlanta 100. I don't know if that's a hangar or a terminal or a concourse. I'm not sure. I've only been here for, haven't even been here for like 12 hours.
1956, continue the Sierra Charlie.
Yeah, Southeast Aviation. I did not, I kind of let Patrick take care of those over on the reverse ops channel. He's a lot more military oriented than I am, since they've got a lot of those aircraft at his home base down in Hawaii. Down below us, we've got a Delta jet, which they've just rolled up a stairway to.
Delta 1458, Papa, runway 9 left, limit ground point 75.
There are a bunch of Delta planes parked on the apron in front of us.
Right, cleared across right at Romeo C, left November, short of Papa behind the second Embraer, Delta.
And we have our 3 cameras set up for you today. Next to arrive, Delta 2063 and Airbus A321.
1956 at November 2, past Airbus 321 company, left to right.
And as I said in the description of this broadcast, this is the first time we've ever taken our nighttime cameras on remote. We usually take our camcorders because they're a lot smaller and easier to lug around.
Contact Atlanta departure.
Well, we thought we'd give this a try.
Runway 9 left, Mike. The 27, runway 9 left, Mike 2 on the runway.
Yeah, we can't go. We got someone.
There's United just coming in there from San Francisco. That was a MAX 8, just kind of cycling through the shot there. Ricky Hernandez says, hi ho, Walt, and everyone from Charleston. Welcome to Atlanta, sir. Do I need one? Says, hey, Walt, hello there. And he adds that ATL is Delta Central.
Clear across 9 left, ground point 75. Good night, Delta Force.
Got 52, 37, 50 in November, short of pop.
November short of Papa, number
1984, that's our roll, not like.
Wind 0906.
Runway 9, Mike 2, clear for takeoff.
After lattice, clear for takeoff, 9 left, Delta 7.
Shot deck.
Joshua will be here through Sunday evening. I'm not exactly sure when we get kicked out of our penthouse on Sunday, so we'll be hanging around doing something somewhere.
With ground up to 5. Good night.
Sorry, Delta 1956 up across runway 9
Delta
left,
Express, I think it is. Is that what they call it? CRJ 900? No, Delta Connection. Coming in from Augusta, Georgia. That's a 36-minute flight. I guess that's kind of the Georgia equivalent of Waco to Dallas.
Well, 2484,
Yeah, it should be coming into view here just momentarily. If you were here for our
446, heavy up, pop across
our
runway
dayside
ground point
test
75.
broadcast,
9 left, join me, ground point 75.
1740, November, short of Papa.
you'll note that we have kind of limited sight lines because we're on a patio attached to a room, which, you know, they don't want you to impinge on the views of other folks who are sharing this penthouse location. So, let's see. There's the extent of our view. There's one side. I'll swing around.
Denver 5282, right on Bravo, short of A, right Delta.
And there's the other side. We've got a Spirit Airlines Airbus A321 about to enter our view from this direction. It is flight 2068 from the Motor City of Detroit.
We are on peak heading over Charlie 20.
Contact the Atlanta departure. Good night, y'all.
1984, hold shorter runway 9 left, take.
Where is that yellow bird?
So 1984, tower 123.85.
2385, holding short 9 left, Delta 1984.
Air 51, pop across runway 9 left, landing ground point.
I was a little premature, but it's coming. There it is.
Delta 1742, passenger company Airbus 321, left to right at 2.
We'll pass behind the company Airbus 32 Delta.
Alright, Delta 1985.
As you probably know,
Runway 9 right, left, November.
Atlanta is the home of Delta Airlines. And a side note that airlines, when it comes to Delta, is 2 words: Delta Airlines.
3897, dead at Sierra Charlie, cross runway 9 right, left, November, short of Papa.
Delta.
Southwest 2071, straight ahead at Sierra Charlie, cross runway November, short of Papa.
Okay, straight ahead, 9 left and 9 right, rather.
There is the control tower. Looks like
Left on
they're
November, short of Papa, Southwest.
bathing it in blue lights, at least the lower level of it.
Delta 2484, November, short of Papa.
Left November.
Number 5002 Atlanta Tower, runway 9.
Jacqueline, I did not have time to drive here, so yes, I flew. Flew in this morning on American Airlines from DFW Airport, and almost all of my gear that you see here, I've got, you can see 2 tripods. There's another tripod over there for that camera. Those 3 tripods fit in a large a large check bag.
Left on November, hold short, left on 1371.
Up here, 2217, we got a pick for crossing active runway, planes are waiting.
And then the cameras and other electronic gear were in a carry-on bag. And then my computer gear and stuff was in a backpack. So that's how we use it. Hey, we've got an airline we do not see currently anyway at DFW Airport, KLM. KLM coming in from Amsterdam on a 777-300 ER. So we shall welcome the Amsterdam arrival.
Delta 3093, runway right to takeoff.
Chip says 2 airports I try to avoid flying out of are Chicago O'Hare and Atlanta. My experience was not terrible. You know, I had some walking to do to get to from my gate to the baggage carousel, which is all the way at the end of the baggage hall.
Turbulence, clear to land 8 left, 1006.
Clear to land.
That's Delta 20.
Or 5002, left November, hold short pop.
The roar of these planes kind of reflects off of the concrete of the building we're in.
0.75 for Southwest 3.
But I do have to say the rooms are pretty well soundproofed, because when those F-15s were going out earlier today, I was kind of relaxing on the bed, and I had Patrick's stream on, and I could hear the jets very clearly on his stream, but I was just a very gentle roar when the door was closed to the balcony here.
Wind 1006. Delta 704. Clear takeoff, A right.
So this plane coming in from Amsterdam. It's an 11-year-old 777-300 ER. It left Amsterdam 9 hours ago.
Okay.
That's one of the giant Delta hangars in the background there.
3689, contact center departure. Good night, y'all.
Good night, over to departure, Skyway 36.
The 133 heavy, way Delta, cross A right, taxi to ramp 6, they called.
At the Delta of runway 8 right.
So I believe KLM and Delta are in the same code sharing organization.
Way and contact the ramp on 1.37.
On 2 bumps at 37. KLM 123. Up at 27 8 left.
Delta 2047, clear to land 8 left, wind 1007.
Clear to land 127.
774, contact departure. Go for it.
Well, I didn't shave off my beard. I trimmed it. It was getting a little Patrick-esque
right on Bravo to Victor Loop.
Victor Loop, Delta 23.
Simon with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Simon.
Delta 63, caution jet blast, 777, get Delta, RNAV Herschel, clear takeoff.
RNAV Herschel, clear takeoff, 8 right. Delta 63.
Delta 2001, runway right.
8 right.
So there are a number of runways here. We're overlooking runways 8 right and 8 left. 8 right is the takeoff runway, 8 left is the arrival runway. 8 left is closest to us. We are looking towards the south from our vantage point.
Six 48, turn runway 9 left, Mike 2 on the wait.
Simon, I did get your message, and thank you again for your super chat. Chip is off to spend Friday evening with his better, smarter, and prettier half. And I will see you next Friday, Chip. Thank you. Yeah, look forward to seeing you. Next Friday, your Runway DFW crew will be coming to you live from Los Angeles for a couple of shows at least. We're there.
376, right on Bravo.
Our main purpose is to attend the 5th anniversary of Airline Videos Live. That's Friday night, a week from tonight. And there's going to be a lot of folks there who I know. Some of whom I've met, some of whom I haven't. So look forward to that. Delta 2047 is about to pay us a visit.
Delta F56 at Atlantic Tower, line way right.
Line away, 8 right, Delta 55. Tower, Delta 269, mile final, 8 left.
Delta 269, the tower, clear to land 8 left, wind 10. Clear to land 8 left. RNAV Herschel, runway right clear.
RNAV Herschel, 8 right, clear.
I see Josh Aldrich, one of our mods, who is here in Atlanta. I haven't seen him yet, but glad to have you on board with us. Josh Aldrich.
One contact Atlanta departure.
J-Ro Rueda Rodriguez says hello from Arlington, Texas. Got apparently some
The Airbus 22
engine testing going on right below us, adding to the din.
left November, hold short pop.
Also the
Delta 5, that's the restaurant legend, hold short pop.
That's November,
That's for 2482, heavy runway 9 right, so
9 right, 4.
Turn 4648, contact departure. Later.
4648, good night.
Thank you, Delta 957 up, runway 9 left, taxi via Lima, contact ground point 5.
All right, 9 left at Papa and via Lima, and we'll contact on the other side, Delta 957.
Simon, we thank you for being a member for 9 months.
Center departure.
Certainly appreciate that. Helps us be able to do things like this.
120, RNAV Ronnie, clear for takeoff.
Thomas Moore says it's so annoying when the stream gets interrupted by a commercial.
Delta 682, tower,
Well,
runway right line of way.
That is, you know, it's kind of how television, you know, over-the-air television has always worked.
Left, wind 1007.
I mean, yes, it's annoying, but
One clear,
YouTube has created this incredible infrastructure to let creators like me share cool stuff with people like you.
690 right on Bravo, short of A Delta.
Right on Bravo, short Delta, Delta 26.
And so somebody's got to pay for that.
52 on that
And
first
if
runway
sponsors
right.
are going to pay, then I guess
Runway right.
we've got to put up with that. So I don't mean to belittle your concern.
2615 tower, let me know when you're ready.
Delta 2615, Wilco, thank you.
And a lot of these planes are just going by so quickly that I can't identify them.
Delta 599.
Got flight
runway 9, ground 175.
1021 Delta coming in from Greenville, Spartanburg.
28 landed tower, reduce final approach speed, made left, wind 1006.
On a final, clear to land 8 left, Delta 21.
Delta 3120, contact the Atlanta deployment. 2690 at Delta, cross right, Foxtrot, ground point 9.
Contact ground point 9, Delta 2690.
Delta 2047, cross, right departure in, right on Echo, short of...
Emery Uchis with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Emery. Atlanta is one of the best airports I've been to, followed by Detroit, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston.
Okay,
No, I'm sorry.
7, here.
Washington, Dulles,
Delta 1980.
and Austin. And the worst, according to
2015, we're ready to go.
Emery, would be JFK,
Line up and wait, right,
Philadelphia, and Newark.
Line up and wait,
Well,
eight
Newark's
right.
on most people's list. I know that.
Delta 2047, contact ground
I
point 9.
used to fly in and out of Newark regularly, but
64 over shell, 48 left.
not recently.
Tower, clear land 8 left, wind 115.
Delta land 8 left, Delta 19.
Frontier 1116, you cross A right at Charlie.
So looking directly
Echo
north
Delta
of us here,
6.
you can see down at the south end, there's a condimentlicious DHL plane.
Delta 36.
Good evening, guys.
There was a cargo plane down there earlier.
For 2482.
What is that? Is that a Latam that just went through the shot there?
37 in front of you.
Latam 2482 coming in from Lima, Peru
Yes, ma'am, that
on a
must have come
767.
across from the runway. We missed it. Talked to ramp, they're ready for us. If you're, we'll get out of your hair.
Just make a right turn at Lima 10, Lima to the ramp.
Lima 10, Lima ramp. Sorry for the confusion. Delta 19.
No problem. I'm glad it was ramp 5 and not anything further.
Lodestone,
and we got it when we did.
channel member, says hi, Walt Mods and
Thanks for the
all.
help.
TJ Dandler, favorite airport is London Heathrow. And yes, this is Atlanta at night.
3.8,
We try to keep you informed with the
51.5 as able pop across runway 9 left.
little clock in the corner of the screen.
Potential jet blast, heavy Boeing 767 from runway 9 left and right.
Why, there's the Boeing 717. A Delta staple here at Hartsfield.
3096 at Delta, stay right, Foxtrot, ground point 9.
Oh, I didn't punch to that. But we're in the penthouse, as you can see,
Runway 9, quit land.
trying to bring you as many planes as we can. Speaking of New York, Delta 964 from LaGuardia is next in here on the north side of the airport.
We're right Aviation. They're when able. Any chance direct grant?
Delta 2857, left, clear land 8 left, wind 105. 718 left, Delta 2615, contact the Atlanta department.
Delta 20. See you later.
2482 at 13, cross runway 9 left.
And Emery Urchis with another $2 super chat. Thank you, Emery, who's saying Istanbul would be their favorite airport outside of the USA. Well, I hear good things about Istanbul. Never been there. But yeah, it's said to be a pretty modern and
Southwest 551
cool
Atlanta Tower.
place.
8 right, line up and wait.
Back to this engine test right below us.
It's heavy.
Got some folks over there keeping an eye on that. Luis Tape says, saludos desde Tijuana, Baja, Mexico.
Delta 2060 Atlanta Tower, clear land 8.
Muy buenas noches. J.R. Melton says, good evening all. Do we have a Southwest plane here?
The Foxtrot ground.
I think we do.
Going Foxtrot ground 49.
Delta, going Fox, 9, Delta 964.
That looks like a 700.
The 1991 Atlanta Tower, good evening, but check in on 11903 for me.
Sorry about that. Evening, I'm left at Mike 2, line up and wait.
Mike 2, line up and wait, Delta 8.
And that was a 737-700
Right on
arriving
Bravo, right at Delta,
from
Foxtrot ground, Southwest,
Nashville.
2730.
Good night, y'all.
Next in is a 717.
Lap the route 2482.
Ramp 8, it's either Fox 12 or Fox 14, I'm not sure, but just ramp 31.
This we checking in from Harrisburg,
Roger. Fox
Pennsylvania.
is the gate and enter via number 2488 west.
Delta 983, Runway 9 left 6 kilo.
Alright, shorter 9 left kilo, Delta 90.
Delta 983, monitor 123.85.
25 of United, Delta 9.
Big boss.
Five. Left Mike 2, line up and wait, everything.
MR Rice saying hello. Hello, MR.
Left, Detroit, right, Delta 2857.
285, Atlanta Tower.
Simon wants to know, does DFW have the same setup with penthouse suite? Well, the place we stay in, when we've used the penthouse at DFW is very similar to this in terms of, a patio availability with kind of limited viewing. And we might as well let you know what you're watching. It's Runway DFW After Dark. This is about when we were supposed to start our broadcast. At least when the scheduled start was. We started a little early just to get a kind of like a twilight view of the airport before it got dark. And I don't know that we'll be on the air till like 11 o'clock or something. Well, it's already, of course, we're in the Eastern time zone here, and it's already 8:30. But this is normally when we would begin a Runway DFW After Dark broadcast.
Left on Bravo, short of right departure end, Delta 2060.
I don't know if we're going to be able to see this. There's an Aerologic 777 freighter coming in from Frankfurt. It's arriving on the south side.
I
don't know how good of a view we'll get of it. We're going to try.
Good night.
1861, good night.
So this is the plane that's coming in before the Aerologic. It's Delta Airbus A321 from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
It's 909, taxi uniform, cross runway 9 left, hold short 9 right, Sierra Charlie.
Endeavor 9, cross 9 left, hold 9 right.
Endeavor 54, contact departure, good night.
Roger, take care, Endeavor 29.
So we get kind of a,
Delta 983,
kind of most of it landing until it goes behind the
to Fox 2 now.
terminal building, and then we get another glimpse of it here.
Check with gatekeeper because I'm showing Fox 2.
Alright, we'll call him.
So let's turn our attention to the Aerologic
It's 909
777.
to the tower, 119.3.
And we double check our zoom here. That's as much zoom as we can get out of this camera. So again, like DFW Airport, this facility can be kind of spread out.
Delta 28, 78 tower, clear to land 8 left, wind 107.
Clear land 8, Delta 2878.
Delta 60 at departure end, cross 8 right, join the east pad, monitor ground point 9.
Departure end, cross 8 right, join the monitor, or the pad, monitor ground.
Delta 29.5, contact the Atlanta departure. See. Yes, sir. Runway 9 or left and
So there's some aerologic for you. We do see that
And
aircraft
then take it Delta or Lima and into the ramp with me, whichever
over
one
at
would like.
DFW. Now we've got China Airlines Cargo, another 777.
Go ahead and actually cross runway 9 left at Kilo Lima ground.
So we'll follow along with that.
Good night. Endeavor maintenance 909, hold Romeo 6.
Now on my way to dinner, or my way back from dinner tonight, I was able to ascertain that both UPS and FedEx have facilities here on the north side of the airport. This plane, by the way, coming in from San Francisco. This China Airlines Cargo 777.
Delta 1139, RNAV Ronnie, clear right.
RNAV Ronnie, clear 8 right, Delta 1139.
With you 08 left, dispatch. Speedbird 7, Tango Golf, Atlanta Tower, clear to land, runway 8 left, wind 1106.
Ah, we got a British Airways coming in.
02, contact departure, good night.
British Airways Flight 227. It's another 777. Wow, we're having a 777 party here tonight. Coming in from the aforementioned London Heathrow.
Roger, Romeo, and we'll pick up road 6 to Tango representing 35340.
So we should be seeing it momentarily. Not one of BA's newer planes.
16-8, Atlanta Tower, caution, wait turn, southbound, 7 Pierce, Bravo, runway 9 right, clear to land.
2345 Sierra, cross runway 9, straight into ramp 5, call them directly, have a good day.
Sierra cross line left over to ramp 45.
Staz's place. Good evening, Walt. Just joined the video. Do A380s come to Atlanta? And if so, is there one today? And the answer is, I haven't been here long enough to figure that out. So I don't mean to be short with you, but I don't know the answer. Maybe somebody in our audience does. I haven't seen any since my arrival.
Endeavor maintenance 909, second 1 ma'am.
Okay, this is a plane back from the year
1996.
Wait, is that it? No, that's not it yet. But when we see the 777, that will be its year of delivery. Plane coming in down there is,
Fantastic.
we got the
Evening,
Southwest
Endeavour
Airlines plane coming in on the
5508,
south side.
Plan 8 left, wind 110 8.
Okay, we should, here comes the 777 Speedbird.
And on Lima.
Yeah, they're holding toward your intersection. Forty 5443 are now. Runway 9 left, Mike 2, clear for takeoff. 265, runway 9 left at Mike 2, line.
9 left at Mike 2, for weight Delta 2255.
So, the big triple,
Speedbird 7 Tango Golf, turn right.
completing a
Hold
9-hour
forward,
trip
runway 8 right
from
itself.
London.
A 9 right, proceed Romeo to the ramp. Frontier 3453, runway 9 right, clear to land.
That went long.
So 14. Delta 24 inside tail.
Delta 374 Tower, number 2, following RJ 2 mile final, clear to land 8 left, wind 100.
Clear to land 8 left, Delta 24.
Pleasant evening here in Atlanta. 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind out of the south-southeast at a gentle 5 miles an hour.
$65 are now. Runway 9 left, Mike 2, clear for takeoff.
RNAV grid, 9 left, Mike 2, clear for takeoff. Delta 60.
Southwest 3076, runway 9 left, Mike 2, line up and wait.
9 left, Mike 2, line up. Southwest 36.
Or clear to land 8 left, wind 107.
D446, departure, good night.
Departure into 443.
And what's a camera to do when it's faced with an exposure decision like this? I'm sure that someday, we've talked about this before, I'm sure someday AI will be able to present a scene like this and have it be perfectly exposed for both the background and the foreground in real time. Of course, you could do that in post-processing to some extent now. I don't know if any camera that can handle that kind of a contrast range
Endeavour
successfully.
55, follow British Airways.
Delta 1257, line tower, hello. Runway 9 left at Mike 2, line up and wait. Runway 9 left, Mike 2, Delta 12.
We say hello to William McAuliffe. Hello, William.
Bravo and
Pleasure to see you here.
right, Delta Fox ground point 9.
I turn around, please, sir.
Clear 1 down.
Yes, sir, please, sir, 55.
Yes, the camera does love
Been cleared out of Bravo as requested.
the big Speedbird.
3019.
And of course, we will be seeing the return of the British Airways A380 to DFW Airport. Not too long from now. I'm not clear. Can't remember what the date is. They're doing some more engine testing right below us, which makes things extra noisy here. It is. It's blowing some water. I hope that's water and not jet fuel across the apron there. Yes, let's hope that's not a leak. Battling for Brody says the third YouTuber to be in Atlanta. Oh my gosh. Well, there is a convention of us folks tomorrow, AvCon, over at the Delta Flight Museum, which could account for the preponderance of aviation enthusiasts in the house. Gordon Freeman was in Atlanta a couple weeks ago. The highlights at the time were an Air France A350 and a Lufti 787. Well, we did see an Air France, I think it was an A350, I think. Carlos Chavez says, I wish I could meet you in real life. Well, we normally hang out at Dallas Fort Worth International Airport at the Founders Plaza facility. So if you're ever in that vicinity, check us out. I don't know where you are.
4025 Atlanta Tower.
Delta Flight 859 is about to take off for Las Vegas. Shall we try to attempt to bring you a plane that's taking off? Well, let me see if I can find it.
2942, cross a right, Delta, Foxtrot, 49. Cross, right, Delta, Delta, Foxtrot, 49.
So, I think this is it.
I'm showing your parking at
It's an Airbus A321.
Lift up, now left, Mike 2, cover coming.
Mike S. Says that the British Airways A380 returns to DFW in late May of this year. And of course, that will mark the first time since before the pandemic that there have been 2 A380 daily flights to DFW. Emirates and Qantas had been doing that. Then they both stopped those big jets for the pandemic. British Airways was the first to return with the A380. In fact, that was the first time they had flown the A380, I think, to DFW. And then they stopped, and then Qantas fired up its daily service from Sydney. So I guess this must be the Las Vegas bound flight.
Bravo 20, right Delta. Charlie, cross a right, short a left.
Cross a right, left.
And cross a right, join the east, monitor ground 49. Cross a right, yeah, left pad, ground up.
Underdog is a fan of that ATC tower. It really does look pretty cool lit up like that. And it doesn't, the camera really brings out that blue. It doesn't look that dazzling in person, I have to tell you. So another plane under tow. Headed for a parking spot here somewhere below us, no doubt. I'm really ready for that engine test to be complete. Maybe you are too.
1170, RNF, ultimately right there, takeoff. Number 5070, power line for weight 8 right, traffic downfield.
Left.
yet another Delta 717.
Runway 9 left at Kilo. 1553, quickly monitor tower 325.
That one,
You do the same. Number 13 cross, runway 9 left, not on line, so we're moving further.
trying to see where that came from.
If you're going to mark tonight, got a 1650 Kilo, cross runway 9 left, then Lima, over 5, good night.
Okay, we got Frontier coming in. No.
Delay departure.
Let's see. A Delta coming in from Atlanta. Did I miss that? It's possible.
Lima 14, make a left turn, join Lima, hold short.
The Adventures of Nick and Nora. Good evening, Walt. Thanks for bringing us the sights and sounds of another airport. Well, I am happy to be here. It's always cool to be somewhere new, and you know, usually there are some technical challenges when you attempt to broadcast from a new place. We've really not had many of those today. Between this broadcast and the test we did earlier this afternoon. Yes, indeed, Smoke and Slice. One of our mods. Say hello to Smoke and Slice. Spike says feels unusual to see so many Deltas. Well, not if you're in Atlanta. It's kind of analogous to being in at DFW Airport. Another, I'll give you something to look at here. Got another 717 coming in. Is that on the south side? That's on the south side. We'll pay attention to the north side where we are overlooking runways 18 left. And I'm sorry, 18 left. What are we talking about? 8 left and 8 right. Not used to these single digit runway numbers. But to orient you, the runways are going east and west. And we are looking to the south. So west is to the right and east is to the left. So the planes are coming in from the west. So once again, we're looking for Delta 1724. This is from Cincinnati. It's a 737-800. Once we get it in our sights.
Onboard 39 on the tower, we're now left, do on going.
Emery Urchis with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Emery. And he says, yep, Delta dominates Atlanta the way American does at DFW. It sure does. See if we can get you a takeoff here. And Steve Lundby says you also see a lot of Delta at Minneapolis, St. Paul. But of course, as it's one of the Delta hubs. Of course, it used to be, it was the home of Northwest Airlines until it and Delta merged. William Murtha says I'm going to be flying on Delta on April 21st. If you're doing the live stream at DFW, you'll be seeing my plane coming in from Atlanta on a Tuesday night. We may well be there. Atlanta planes generally operate on the east side, but will give us a reminder. Mercifully, they're shutting that engine down. How long has that been going? Are they going to do the other one now? Because they've just been doing one. Be still my ears. So Spike, also, is Atlanta a Sky Team hub the way DFW is with One World? And yeah, that's true. We had KLM coming in here earlier, which is a Sky Team member. Air France, I believe, is also. Now, we did see British Airways, which is not a Sky Team member. Getting a sip of water here.
Delta 79.
Delta 520, taxi to left on November and hold short of Papa.
November, hold for Papa, Delta 5.
I was going to see.
5247 land tailwind 108, runway 8 left, clear to land.
34, contact
How
departure.
far I've walked today. Yeah, about 9,000 steps. I walked to dinner. And, you know, not a gigantic hike, but got to walk past the Delta Flight Museum, saw the array of aircraft parked in their parking lot, including 747, which we'll be getting a look at in closer view tomorrow when we pay it a visit. So Steve Lundaby said that noise that jet engine noise, not as bad as an air start at DFW. Yeah, we get those quite frequently over at UPS. Delta 1393 from St. Louis to 737-900 is what we are looking here at which we are looking.
743.1108, runway 8 left, clear to land.
I do have to say the planes seem louder here, but that may just be because we are on the side of a concrete building where everything bounces back off of it.
And then hold short 8 right at the departure.
Underdog wants to know, what's the reason for an airline joining Sky Team or One World? Well, it creates some synergy. Usually these are airlines that don't fly to the same parts of the world. Sometimes they are, of course, but for instance, at DFW, British Airways has a code share through its One World partnership with American Airlines. And And last summer, when British Airways suspended its flights to DFW for several months, I think all summer, American picked up the slack by adding a flight to London. And American operated, I think, 5 flights, and they added a 6th, something like that.
47 exit high speed. Expect the loop.
So MRI says if it was Jet A, you'd be having a strong smell of fuel. We were talking about what we were looking at being blown around by that jet engine below us. But of course, the wind is not blowing in our direction, so I don't know that would necessarily be the case. But I'm pretty sure there'd be more alarm if there were jet fuel that was spilled. And in fact, perhaps there was a small amount spilled and they flushed it, I don't know.
Right on Mike, they would move her further.
Okay, clear the cross line, left, right.
Okay, hold 48 left.
No, 3025 left. So 3025 left now, with 108, 28 left, clear to land.
Well, it's just after 9 o'clock here in the eastern time zone of the USA.
483, taxi to the Victor Loop.
This is Runway DFW After Dark.
And that is Warren Barnett, the voice of Runway DFW, with his beautiful voice, letting you know what you're watching. Tonight we are not at DFW Airport. We are watching the planes come and go at Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta International Airport. As you can see down there in the lower left-hand corner. Let me see, is our clock correct? Hope so. Yep. So thank you for hanging out with us here. A little different vibe here in Atlanta.
1497 Atlanta Tower to Runway. Back to the ground. RNAV, Ron. Right, clear to take off.
Off R. 8 right, RNAV, 8 Delta 130.
7 to right, Bravo, taxi to Victor Loop.
Bravo, Victor Loop, 1097.
Plane headed out there was what? Delta 1531 to Albuquerque.
Delta 1531, Atlanta departure, see you.
Departure, 1531.
Got a 757 coming in from Orlando. Delta 1467, a 757 200.
32, model the tower 123.
135, Delta left 32. Departure flight 24, visual 9 right.
Let's get camera 1 into position here.
The 2340 Atlanta 108, 28 left, clear land.
Departure, Delta 30, good night.
Tier 1 on that first hold, ready to take off. Delta 1482 Atlanta runway, right, wait.
8 right, left, Delta 1482.
And that was not it.
Tower down to place one.
One line tower.
We're going to try that again.
Miles to the north, or 1,800, like the inner.
Actually,
Go about 5 miles to
it's coming in on the south side, so I misread that one.
One radar contact just west of Stadium 1000, cleared in Class Bravo airspace and
Clear Class Bravo, put on 1.
that left 30 contact left.
Yeah, 11:30 tonight.
Flyer KG, we salute you for being a Runway DFW member for 20 months. Good evening, Walt. Thank you for many fabulous shows.
Delta 1482.
I thank you too for watching and for supporting the channel. Kevin, SK92, air traffic controllers each get one runway to control, and the runways on departures are set up off of the direction they travel, one east, one west, one north, one south, as examples. Thank you, Kevin.
Delta 90, 1108, runway 8 left, cleared land.
All right, I think I've got things under control here. Delta Flight 2340 from Newark, New Jersey is coming in next. 737-900. There's a train. I guess that's the MARTA. MARTA has a train station here. If I had more time, I'd hop on the MARTA train and scoot around Atlanta, but I don't think I'll be able to do that.
Here, 2496, model the tower 1225.
385, Frontier Flight 26.
Channel member Storm Chaser Mark Texas says, good evening, Walt in chat.
For you now, if you're ready to go. The 1393 trip.
Thomas Moore says, love the 717. Delta A220s are nice too. Now, I know I've been on DC-9s and MD-80s before. I don't think I've ever been on a 717.
Line up and wait. 9 left at Mike 2, Southwest 2270.
And I'd like to acknowledge Ken Schmidt in the chat here with us, one for mods, along with Josh Aldrich.
Good night.
And I know we had Luke in here earlier, but he was busy doing stuff. Seth Rubalcaba, great to see you on a fine Easter weekend. Hope everyone is ready to have a great weekend. And I hope that you have a break from studying, Seth. One of the Delta planes parked over here to get a little rest. William is sorry, has to leave because I'm going to visit other sites. Well, hey, at least you're honest. We're glad you visited us. Smoke and Slice, I did fly in this morning on American Airlines. I had thought about taking a 717 from Dallas Love Field on Delta, but you know, I like to go with well, it's just a little more beneficial to me to stay with American because of the advantage miles that I accrue that could someday help me get a cheap flight.
1108, runway 8 left, clear land.
Frontier Flight 4405 from Miami and Airbus A321neo. It's got Trixie the Fox on the tail. Let's take a look.
Turn up Ronnie and wait right clear for takeoff.
Turn up to Ronnie, 8 right, clear for takeoff to 1501.
There's Trixie.
People in ramp and see if they're going to have you for 15, because it looks like they're about to push.
Confirmed we are gate Echo 15 for up.
Is that, I see the jet bridge is detaching there. Can you call and see the estimated time for the holdout?
Frontier 4405, gates unavailable, go straight Bravo, hold short 8 right at the departure ramp.
Straight up, I'll go short 8 right on the departure and Frontier 4405.
Delta 2248, contact departure.
Departure, Delta 2248, come out.
Air 1, yes sir.
Tower Air 1, we'll say can move eastbound. We'll say north of towards the airport.
Air 1, understood.
Headed
You're
off
gonna
to
go eastbound.
Columbus
You're not going to get any
was
closer to my approach corridor.
Delta 1501, 737
November
800.
13, 29 left. Join Mike short of Jet.
Back cross, join Mike short of Juliet Frontier 2496.
Put a 1596, 39 left, Mike 2 on the Boeing, traffic downfield.
Runway 9 left.
No, that was not what you saw taking off there. That was Delta 50.
2271,
No, I was right.
Departure,
Sorry.
Alpha 3271.
It's confusing when you're looking. Everything is backwards. I wish I could flip the map. Delta 840 from Denver.
Wait, right line up, wait. Delta 1501,
Is about to check in.
9 left, join Lima ground 75.
Kilo cross 9 left.
It's Airbus A321 Neo.
Delta 3059.
Frontier flight 2096, once your Mike short of Juliet behind your, you can go over to ground point 75, he'll get you the updates he has.
Hey, ground point 75, when we cross Frontier 24. Take off A right, commercial, Southwest 2787.
Delta 843, Bravo, taxi to Vic Loop.
Daniel Fitzpatrick says thanks for doing Atlanta. Wish more plane spotters would do Atlanta. Well, you know, I don't know, you know, if you don't have a hotel room, which we like to call the penthouse, but if you don't have that, I don't know if there's good spots here to spot planes or not. I really haven't done any investigation.
Team 96, calling out to grip, left Mike 2, clear for takeoff.
We're about to see the arrival of Frontier Flight 1549 from Jacksonville, Florida. It's an Airbus A320 Neo. Upon its tail should be McCall, the flat-tail horned lizard.
1594, monitor tower 123.
Get it up 1594. Delta 1124.
1124, land targeting on right, clear lane. Delta 1124, caution, white terminus heavy Airbus 350, will be inboard.
Did I hear someone say Airbus A350?
See if they'll take you up Delta before I move you. If you're a little bit, I'm worried.
Delta 2787, contact departure, see ya.
George, good night, Delta 27. Ram Delta 1594, ground was wondering if you could get that Delta.
Oh, try one more time.
Yep, sorry. Tower Delta 1946.
Yeah, reverse ops. There's Patrick, who's got a premium view, a few floors above. There aren't that many floors above where we are.
I just confirmed that's for Delta 1940.
clear to land 8.
but welcome Patrick. And Patrick, of course,
1946
chimed in earlier today after I wrapped things up, so he had more or less continuous coverage from here, and he got some pretty cool military planes. Well, let's see. What did we miss there? I believe that's a special livery.
Heavy turn right on Bravo and hold short 8 right.
Bravo short on Delta.
That's the Team USA livery.
Wind 110 at 8.
Down, 2939, light right.
That's 2939, 1108, runway.
Delta Flight 26 coming in from Seoul, South Korea, Incheon Airport. Team USA livery. It's a 1-year-old A350-900.
Traffic will be downfield.
Okay, room 9 left, full length, line up for Delta 3073, copy the turn. 1124, taxi left, no hold short of Papa. Left, short Papa, Delta 121.
Contact.
For departure, United Frontier 4075.
I'm waiting to see if we can get someplace with a little better lighting. Hopefully we'll get a better view of that livery before it heads off to the terminal. But as we've pointed out, the lighting is so variable here
74 taxiway kilo, cross runway
at night.
Lima or Mike into ramp 8 with
Cross runway. Cross 9 left, 5 with you, Delta 465.
In the foreground, you saw a Delta 757 coming in from San Juan, Puerto Rico, flight 1946.
We'll get shape for Delta 1465.
And yeah, I don't know if we're going to get a better view of this plane or not.
The 75 you see on Lima is waiting short of test.
Alrighty.
Well, it's the first time we've seen it here on Runway DFW.
Good night.
Staz's place wants to know when our next streams are going to be. This is one of those weekends where I don't know when the next stream is going to be. I had thought about getting up early tomorrow and doing a stream, and I don't know if I can. I think I may need to sleep in. He's got a full day over at AvCon at the Delta Flight Museum, where we, I don't know if we'll be doing a live broadcasting from there, since that is not, that's an event I'm attending, and I'm not there as a part of the event. But I'm sure I'll have my camera going and taking some pictures.
35 message.
Maybe some videos.
Yeah, we'll go back. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Talk in just a second. 1436, runway 9 left, Mike 2 long.
I see one of our most trusted moderators in the house, Mrs. Runway DFW. Hello, Mrs. Runway DFW.
Looks like a panel might be open underneath the right engine, underneath the aircraft fuselage. There's a orange background. There's something there, just like it'd be for the ground air hookup.
Thanks, appreciate that.
35. We can pull you ahead and Mike sort of Lima if you'd like to check with company to see if you're going to we can get an ops vehicle out there.
Yeah, that'll work. So Mike Short of Lima there?
So Mike sort of Lima, don't block the pop loop there, but Mike sort of Lima and let me know what you need.
Okay, Mike Short of Lima there. I think.
So it sounds like some plane must have an issue of some sort. I can hardly hear a thing.
1470 Atlanta 118, runway 8 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 18 left.
Actually, I should be looking at my ATC app, which does have...
Taxi left November, hold.
Representative short of pop at the 3.
1124, pop runway 9 left, taxi Lima, contact ground up 5.
Alright, 9 left, pop, the other side, Delta 24.
Any ops vehicle on free?
Right at the departure and on Bravo Delta 1490.
So we're following along with this.
12, pop across runway 9 left, taxi Lima, ground on 0.75.
Pop Lima, cross 9 left.
Special livery. So another Delta special livery
Birdie, 9 right.
earlier
730 Atlanta, targeting runway 9 right.
today.
Clear to land, 9 right, Delta 7.
625
The
left,
breast
1208,
cancer
8 left,
research
clear to land.
something.
Delta 2020.
Sterling 351 Atlanta Tower, we now left Mike, Roger, wait.
9 left, Mike 2, line up, clear lane, 351.
All right, let me see if we can catch Delta Flight 1470 coming in from Kansas City on a 757-200. Oh, this is going to look bad because we're going to go from one shot. Oh no, I can do that as a transition. So we're looking for a Delta 757 here.
1826, that's departure.
Departure, good night, Delta 22.
351, RNAV 2 Blightus, runway 9 left, 2, clear for takeoff.
And that's not it. That's a plane coming in on the south side. We should have the view.
Delta 1107,
It's about ready to come around the corner here. By the corner, I mean the corner of our balcony of the penthouse.
Behind company, November, Papa Delta 1491.
1020, 110 at 9, runway 8 left, clear. Delta 2416, Atlanta Tower, on average, runway 8 right, clear for takeoff.
Join Leo, Delta 31.
See Atlanta Tower.
I would have thought we'd have more ambient light coming off the hotel here to make those planes pop a little more.
7 RNAV 2 grits, runway left at Mike 2, clear for takeoff.
Great, stand left, Mike 2, clear for takeoff, Delta 11.
Delta 1470, Bravo, taxi Victor Loop.
Bravo, taxi, Victor Loop, Delta 14.
Optimistic mountain landscape saying hello. We say hello back from Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta International Airport.
Go ahead, 9 right, Delta 20.
Pop across runway 9 left, taxi lane, ground 0.75. Denver 5035, are you ready to move?
Ready, Kevin.
Alright, turn November, hold short. November.
730, the ramp's not ready for you, model power 12325. 318 firm, contact 1.
Airplane Chuck says the Delta A350 next to Air France is another Team USA special livery, the popsicle bus. Can we see that from here?
text straight on Bravo, hold short 8 right at course ran. I've got a ground on 0.75. 25. Delta 42, line of runway, right line of plate, traffic downfield.
Line of plate, 8 right, Delta 42.
Delta 1490, I guess we're ready for you after all. You ready to move?
Yes, sir, we are.
I don't know if I can make it out from here.
Wait, right, go, and don't get behind that Frontier, stay to the right, ground point 9.
All right, 8 right, at the departure on Echo, go around the Frontier.
Monday, says, do y'all have any recommendations for plane spotting spots near Love Field? Well, the city of Dallas is about to open a park on the east side. I don't know if it's opened yet or not. I haven't heard that it has, but it is a plane spot, a park for plane spotting, kind of like what they have at DFW Airport at Founders Plaza. Now, I don't know what the parking situation is going to be at this new park, and I don't know what the sight lines will be. So, but we'll check that out on a future broadcast. But typically, we go up to the one of the parking garages to plane spot, usually Terminal D. I think it's, no, I mean parking garage D.
For Endeavour 4650, still on short.
Blanche Lehman says, hello everyone, looks like a beautiful night for watching
Endeavour 54.
all this. I would concur with you on that analysis.
42 on half, running right, clear 6.
Right, clear take off 8 right, 2842. Tower Delta 549,
Well, we're about to say hello to a plane coming in from the home of our good friend Sarah Deal, the real deal, Boston. Delta 2464, the 737-900. And we will point our camera in this direction for that acquisition. Staz's Place, what got you into recording DFW and when did you start? As you might remember, I'm a new subscriber from the last show. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, we've been doing this for about 4.5 years now. Started at the end of 2021. So not quite 4.5 years. I have been in television news all of my career since 1975.
27.
So I'm celebrating 51 years in the TV news biz, and I've done a little bit of everything in that regard. Reporting, photojournalist, producer, IT guy. But I saw Jerry on Big Jet TV doing his thing from London. I thought, well, that looks interesting. He definitely has a unique style. And by the way, if you're watching Jerry get better, I think he's got a show scheduled for either tomorrow or Sunday, his first real plane spotting show. So Jerry's on the mend. Good to hear that. And then I saw our friend Kevin from Airline Videos Live, and I saw what he was doing at LAX, and I heard his story. And Kevin is a former TV journalist. He quit doing that full time in order to make Airline Videos his full-time gig, and so I kind of resonated with Kevin's background. And then I saw that nobody was doing live plane spotting from Dallas-Fort Worth. And I said to myself, why is that? Here comes a 757 from Las Vegas. So one thing led to another, and I tried some streams at the tail end of 2021. And I just kept doing it. So we do, generally speaking, about 3 shows a week live from, usually from DFW, but sometimes from Dallas Love Field, and occasionally from further afield, such as this here in Atlanta. And next week at this time we will be in Los Angeles on the other coast.
72 on F. 9 left to Mike 2, clear for takeoff. On F grid, 9 left to Mike 2, clear for takeoff.
Seattle Flight says today I went to the Boeing Everett tour. It was great seeing all the airplanes being built. I'll have to, it's on my list of things to do.
So 950, Atlanta 112.7, runway 8 left, clear to land. Up clear to land, up 950. 4650, kind of Atlanta Park, see ya. Park, good night, 46.
Taking off into the wild blue there. Delta 896 and Airbus A321 to San Diego.
So 1131, weather tower, runway down right.
And now we've got Southwest 737-700 coming in from Midway Airport in Chicago. Flight 3326.
5059 and pop across runway 9. Taxi, we must get a ground on 175. Okay. Air Delta 2072, contact function.
I have my biggest promoter in the chat room there, going over some more of my history.
All right, we're cross 9 left here at November 14.
If you're really all that interested, there's a link in the description to my current biography, which is posted at the place where I currently work full-time, K10 TV.
Still not on left November, short of Papa.
Left November, Papa destination.
626 Connect Sports, we'll see you. Over to Park, 2626. Stop 3326, do the 5224, RNAV Ronnie, right, take off.
RNAV Ronnie, clear to take off there, 5224.
959, Atlanta Tower, 8 right, line of lane.
There's another Delta 717 off to Huntsville, Alabama, flight 3065. Delta plane now coming in from Washington National Airport.
3060 Connect Sports, we'll see you. Up across, going down the left. Connect ground, 175. Traffic will be downstairs. Clear, 4
RNAV grid, runway 9 left, Mike 2, clear to take off, Delta.
So 2435, runway 9 left at Mike 2, line of way. 9 left, Mike 2, line of way, Delta 2035. 1131 left, short of Papa.
Anna Radlinger would love a plane spotting at Corpus Christi International Airport in Texas. Well, my question would be, and I have to be honest with you, I've never looked at the flights at Corpus Christi. I don't, obviously they're not going to be as frequent as a DFW or an Atlanta would be. And that's kind of, that that is an issue when you're doing live streams. It's a little harder to do from smaller airports because there's not as much going on.
So 2625, your gate available. Traffic holding, cross right, join Echo, ground point 9.
Right, Echo point 9, that's 2620.
1329, your gate is also available. Cross 8 right, join Echo, ground point 9. Traffic.
Smoking Slice says, Walt, once you retire, are you going to be doing this full time? You know, I don't know. My wife, and I mean, I've thought about retiring. I mean, I'm beyond official retirement age, if you want to get real about it. But I figure, and Mrs. Runway DFW figures, hey, as long as somebody's, you know, it's not, I've tried it. It's not hard, it's not easy to get a job when you're a senior citizen. And I kind of lucked out to get my current job. So, my current full-time job. So, you know, it might be one of those things where either I just can't do it anymore, and what I do involves editing stories on a computer from home, so that's not that taxing. You know, I guess it'll just come down to whether they say, Walt, it's time for you to go, or, you know, just kind of hang in there for a while and get another paycheck. But yes, once that does end, assuming I'm healthy enough to do this, I'll continue to do this because I enjoy this. I hope you can tell. Did I say what we're looking for? We're looking for Delta Flight 2058 coming in from Grand Rapids in Michigan. It's a 737-900, and here it comes now.
42, you're next up, too short.
Now, we have done plane spotting from a small airport before, namely Grand Cayman International Airport in Grand Cayman. It doesn't have a lot of flights, but it has some interesting planes, and the scenery is kind of enough to fill the time when there's nothing happening.
1131, cross 9 left at top, John Lima, ground point 7.
We've got an Air Canada, I guess Air Canada Express, is that what they call it? Air Canada, yeah, Express. Coming in from Montreal in Embraer 175, operated by Jazz Aviation. That's the next plane that's headed our way. So Airplane Chuck says, can you please ask the museum tomorrow to put the red tail back on the 747 and the DC-9 in the parking lot? Well, you know, there's a plane in the parking lot which looked like a DC-9 to me, but I guess it could have been an MD-80 or a 717, I'm not sure. It was a twin rear engine plane as I was walking past it. So we've got the Maple Leaf here at the ATL. And I guess I had thought that I pushed the button and I didn't. So there is the Maple Leaf now. Airplane Chuck says, being, let me see if I can read this. Being an airplane brat / employee, you cannot take that nerd out of me. I love all my fellow Av geeks, as you all have your own unique and special ways of doing what you love. Thank you. Thank you, Airplane Chuck. Ken Schmidt is talking to Optimistic Mountain Landscape. Even with all the headaches of the decision making, there's no comparable satisfaction than working for yourself. And that's, that is kind of one of the things that attracted me to this. I had, doing what I normally do is kind of a routine. I can almost do it in my sleep. Editing stories and clipping videos and things like that. So this gives me a little bit more of a creative outlet. As we wait for Delta Flight 3811 from Bentonville, Arkansas. It's an Embraer 175. It's very recently that Noel Phillips did one of his patented takes. He flew from his home in Houston to Bentonville. It had a really nice airport for this small town in Arkansas. Bentonville, of course, is the home of Walmart. And so there's all sorts of people who have a business need to visit Bentonville, like the people who are coming in on this plane. So we gave a little tour of the town and all the Walmart related businesses there. It's a town built on Walmart, including the airport. I guess, and then there's 2 airports in Bentonville, one for all the corporate jets that the Walmart execs have access to fly to their far-flung outlets. Ryan Paulding, oh, very nice message from Ryan. Walt and we, the Runway DFW family, enjoy you as our host the past 4+ years. Thanks for your hard work to get the broadcast enjoyable. And it disappeared, and I can't. Oh, there it is. No matter where you are, airport-wise. Well, thank you for that. What? Easter eggs hidden in my office? Now I'm going to be back. I'm not going to be back until late on Sunday, which of course is Easter. Another Delta jet under tow just below us. Looking down on it from the 8th floor of the Runway DFW penthouse. But I was pointing out earlier, it's while DFW Airport uses tugs to push planes back from the terminals, there's a lot more towing of aircraft here than we see at DFW for whatever reason. We have American Airlines. Well, there's a familiar livery. Where might this plane be coming to us from? And I ask that rhetorically because I can't look over at my flight radar this second. Let's see, let me swirl around here. Why, that would be coming from Atlanta, flight 2391, a 737-800. Behind that, American Airlines aircraft, Frontier Flight 1003 from Philadelphia. It's an Airbus A321 with Pike the Sea Otter on it. So look, if you will, for Pike the Sea Otter. Let's see how our batteries are doing here. 27% on that one. I didn't bring all my batteries. 67% on that one. Here comes the Sea Otter. Saw somebody going into the cockpit of this jet parked below us just a second ago. And Radlinger wants to know what's on my itinerary for tomorrow. Well, the bulk of the day, I think from 10 to 4, is going to be taken up by attendance at the first AvCon, which is a kind of a mini convention for plane spotters. There'll be speakers, and it's being put on by the wife of well-known aviation blogger Noel Phillips. His wife Rachel has organized this event. So, of course, Noel will be speaking, and our friend Patrick from Reverse Ops has come all the way from Honolulu to be a part of it. He'll be on one of the panels talking about his experience as a live plane spotter. And so I look forward to seeing Patrick and hearing what he has to say. And then tomorrow evening, it looks like I have been invited to a dinner with Patrick, Mrs. Reverse Ops, and with Josh Aldrich, one of our mods. And I think one of his too. So that'll be fun. Got another American Airlines plane coming in next from DFW, flight 2237, a 737-800.
That's 2050 line of tower 8 left, land wind 1303.
8 left, land, up 20.
That's 1070, connect park, we'll see you.
Departure traffic, 1076.
3452, first floor runway 8 right, clear to take off.
Final reversal, 8 right, clear to take off. 452.
That's 1232, tower runway 8 right, line up and wait.
1232, good evening.
So we're looking for that American Airlines plane. I guess both American and Delta are celebrating 100-year anniversaries. I don't know if, because I see a lot of Delta 100 signage around here, although I don't know if they had theirs last year or if it's this year. I'm not sure. I know Americans' centennial is this year. And of course, it's the nation's 250th birthday coming up on July 4th.
8 right.
Harnett, Ronnie, quick take up 8 right.
2334, line of power, right, line of weight.
So here comes American Flight 2237.
Connect partial FIA.
Partial FIA, French flight 43.
Did you get that Morse code?
There's 16, going out the lightest, non left line 2, clear.
Harnett, lightest.
I think that is the a requirement. So instead of giving a station identification, it's just an automated code which contains the call sign and frequency and whatever of the radio station.
Connect point.
So departure is everything. Good night.
Headed out there was Delta 1232, a 757 200 going to
2948, line of power,
Detroit City.
Right, line of weight. 2948. 1733 on that lightest. 2, clear to take off. Delta 3178, non left line 2, wait. 9 left line 2, line
There's Nova Rain once again. She was on our stream earlier today. Hello, Nova.
Right, let's Delta.
Josh Aldrich's all tuckered out from his cross-country journey from Oklahoma City. Of course, he had to change planes at DFW, so I quite understand. Josh, we'll see you tomorrow at AvCon. Thank you for your help tonight and for being a member of Runway DFW. Just Plains Crazy channel member says, good evening. Hello to you. Bob Brown, number 23, is checking in from Texas. So Kevin SK92 says Delta's 100 was last year. United has 100 years this year, and SAS and Cathay Pacific have 80 years this year. And of course, again, American has 100 this year too, as does, Kevin points out, Lufthansa. So a lot of airlines celebrating major milestones. Ryan Paulding wants to know if I'll be speaking about my experiences at DFW/Love. No, I'm just an observer. I'm not a panelist. But I look forward to hearing what everybody's got to say.
Delta 20, craft holding in position, Delta cross 8 right, short of 6, call the ramp, we'll see you.
Delta cross 8 right, Delta shortest. Contact that, Delta 20.
Of course, this sign says Atlanta 100. I don't know if that has to do with this airport is 100 years old. I don't know.
Clear, take off. Take off 9 left, Mike 2 on after grid. Delta 520, we're 9 left, Mike 2 on wait.
Left side of the way, Delta.
So 1109.
We've got Carlos Chavez checking out. We appreciate your viewership tonight, Carlos. Weather Bob checking in from Arkansas. Hello. Oh, Mrs. Runway DFW reminds me that I'm speaking at an event. I guess it's later this month. It's an event which is put on by YOLO Live, which makes the, can I show you this? Hang on a second.
33 Juliet, heavy land tower, and Mike 2, line of weight, traffic downfield.
I don't know if our lens can go that wide. Yeah, I can. So, as you know, we bring you this broadcast on a regular basis from DFW and Love Field and further afield, all battery operated. And to do that, the key element is this. which is called a YOLO box. This is the YOLO box Ultra model. And this lets us switch between different sources. We can put in graphics. It lets us put in messages from you all. And Pastor Chris checking in, saying Atlanta is celebrating its 100th birthday this year as well, Atlanta Airport. So anyway, the maker of this device has asked me to speak at an event in Dallas for people, for their users, and for people who are interested in doing things like this. So that's where I'm going to speak. Yeah, just a little 10-minute Q&A, I think. It's nothing, no big deal. Well, it is just before the top of the hour. So we'll let you know that you're watching Runway DFW After Dark live at large from Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta International Airport in Georgia. And I think, let's see, how long have we been on? 8:30, 9:30, 10. I don't know how long our batteries are going to hold out. I'm going to plug them in overnight. See, this one's down to 22%. But most of our things have battery. Most of our cameras and our other devices have batteries built in. So even if our external batteries expire, we will have still some power left. I was intrigued by this plane going out on the south side, but obviously we didn't get much of a look at it there. That was Air France Flight 33 to Charles de Gaulle Airport. That was a 777-200, which I guess is why it caught my attention, even at a distance.
2422 Atlanta Tower, right Atlanta Point.
Someone who hasn't been traveling all day is urging me to keep going. Now, usually when I finish up a stream, I've got to pack up and drive for an hour back. The one nice thing about this is that I can just bundle all this inside from the patio and call it a night. We have next a JetBlue flight coming in from JFK Airport in New York. It's an Airbus A320.
23-2 departure, we'll see you.
Have a good day, overnight, Delta 21, please.
And all sorts of rumors flying about on the airline blogs about potential suitors for JetBlue.
15 on Aviation, my secret.
Here it comes now.
Delta 37, I'm left my 2 lump weight. I left my 2 lump weight, Delta 37. 64 contact departure 13347. 3347. And everyone else on the departures on 33.
JetBlue not a big player at DFW Airport.
21.
I believe it has ceased flying from Boston to DFW and now only has flights to and from Fort Lauderdale. I may be mistaken about that being the only destination. But
2422, connect. See ya.
422, marching.
JetBlue 719, right on Bravo. Short runway right at Delta.
Ken Schmidt, I have never used the, I'm familiar with ATEM, and of course Black Magic, which is the company that makes the ATEM Mini Pro, has a very good, solid reputation in video gear. So now the ATEM, getting into tech talk here, is very capable, but it doesn't have a screen. And so for someone who travels about, it's handy to have that all in one device. So as you saw earlier, the YOLO box line of products has a built-in screen, and there are some other similar devices from other brands that do have that as well.
After Ronnie, runway right, clear to take.
RNAV, Ronnie, please, 8 right, Delta 2410.
1577, Atlanta Tower, 8 right, line.
Southwest has a flight coming in from Reagan National Airport in Washington, a 737 700, and we'll take a look at that next.
9 left, Mike 2, clear for takeoff.
Delta 1104, 9 left. Wait.
9 left, Mike 2, point up 1104.
Pastor Chris wants to know if any fellow Canadians are watching tonight. I certainly hope so. If you are, make yourself known.
Right, clear to take out.
Pick up 8 radar, and Hartsfield,
182, Atlanta Tower, 8 right, wait. Bay 32, power the 11306, runway 8 left. Land
8 left, okay.
I do have to ask, why doesn't DFW light up its towers at night like this? It's very cool looking. Here's that Southwest jet from Reagan National Airport. And it is not going long.
24, 2 connect, Barge, good night.
I don't think. Maybe it is.
Bravo, then hold short 8 right at Delta. JetBlue.
Bravo, 8 right at Delta, Southwest 2641.
453, runway 8 right, line up and wait, traffic will be down.
We'll get them for the flight attendant. Actually, stand by.
Paul Zaroba wants to know where I'm getting the ATC from. It is coming from a Uniden scanner,
453, very good. Right, line up and wait, traffic
which
down.
I brought with me, dialed into the frequency which handles the flights here on runways 8 and 8 left and right.
19 Delta, cross 8 right, join Foxtrot.
Cross 8 right, that's
2641 Delta.
We have another flight coming in from Reagan National Airport.
Foxtrot, point 9, 2641.
This one's going to be Delta flight 832. It's an Airbus A320. Ryan, also any update on Spirit?
182 connect departure.
Well, Spirit recently, in recent weeks, announced that it has come to an agreement with its lenders to come out of bankruptcy as a smaller, leaner airline. What that exactly means, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing it will mean people will lose their jobs and flights will be cut and cities will be dropped from its list, but it will continue to operate. JetBlue, as we mentioned, is apparently being courted by other airlines. Is it for a possible merger? Now, whether the federal regulators would permit that to happen. I don't know.
Cross 9 right, runway 7 and hold short from Sierra.
Delta.
Cindy Dominic is saying hello from Winnipeg in Manitoba, in our great northern neighbor.
RNAV left 9 left Mike 2 clear, take off Delta 537. Delta 108 heavy, 9 left Mike 2 line 4.
9 left Mike 2 line point, Delta 108 heavy.
So let's see, I don't think we have any action whatsoever right at the moment. Channel member James Moy saying good evening. Hello, James.
Good night. Delta 832, Delta 8 right, join Foxtrot ground point.
At Delta cross 8 right, Foxtrot ground point 9, Delta 832.
Join Mike, ground point 75, sub 10.
See, over on the south side, we've got Delta Flight 198, a 767-400 ER, about to take off to Madrid. Let's see if we can pick up some of that. I don't know how much that will get.
RNAV loaded, clear for takeoff, Delta 108 heavy.
Circuit 3 off heavy, 9 left Mike 2 point.
Apparently we're hearing the traffic from the south side as well.
32 golf, hold there, let me know when you're ready.
Following up on that Delta flight to Madrid, we've got Turkish Flight 32, a 777-300 ER going back to Istanbul. So now, going from right to left on the screen, we're looking for a, here it is.
Turkish 2 golf heavy, roger, RNAV lightest, not Mike 2 clear, takeoff.
On lightest, turn left Mike 2, takeoff, Turkish 3 to bus.
All right, hasta la vista. Now we'll see if we can get the
Heavy contact, card just there.
Turkish
Delta 108 heavy.
going out.
Sorry, United 1305, visit late left.
Yeah, 1305, 8 left, clear to land, the wind's 1306.
So Kevin SK saying that JFK also lights up its tower, control tower. And Turkish now making the turn. The big 777 about to launch into the sky on its transatlantic journey. So again, it'll be coming screen right to screen left there in the background behind those planes. There it is. Kind of getting the lay of the land here finally after being here most of the day.
Eighty-four, go. have the lightest, none left Mike, pick up.
9 left, Mike. Pick up, Barn have the lightest, Delta anywhere.
So it's at a distance, but there you go, a little bit of Turkish action.
Heavy contact, departure 133.47.
1324,
33.
Delta cross from 8 right, Foxtrot, ground point 9.
Well, the reason we were listening to, apparently we're listening to all the channels. Okay, now I think we're locked in on just the runways below us here. Dropped my scanner on the ground. Pretty rugged. I think it'll be okay. J.R. Milton says the Fly Delta Jet sign reminds me of the Braniff sign at Dallas Love Field in previous times. There's that sign. Kind of a simple message, isn't it? Not much room for interpretation. Paul Zaroba says the ATL tower is pushing tin. Wasn't there a movie by that name? I don't know if I ever saw that. I should probably go back and find Pushing Tin. Well, I don't see anything coming in immediately. Looks like we're about to see Delta 2885. Is this right? Yes, it's preparing to make its way to Grand Rapids on a 737-900.
Tower 91305.
Get at 13.5, hold short of runway 8 right at Delta.
Short of 8 right at Delta 91305.
So I think we're looking over here for that. I got that scanner, dear. I didn't I didn't pop the camera on so you could see me bending over and getting it. So let's see, Pushing Tin. Kevin Costner was in it, says Pasta Chris, along with Billy Bob Thornton. And Kevin, plus John Cusack and Angelina Jolie. Wow, star-studded cast.
Zero 05 at Delta cross from 8 Foxtrot and ground point 9.
Fox 8 right at Delta, Foxtrot, ground point 9, 1305.
So at 10:15 here from the penthouse of Runway DFW, our temporary penthouse anyway. We're watching the planes come and go at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, celebrating 100 years.
15 Atlanta Tower.
And I don't know if...
2085, caution weight turbulence, reported heavy air, but 8330, runway 8 right line.
On the way 8 right, Delta 28.
I don't know if this airport has a curfew like some airports do. I have no idea. But yeah, I think we've got the, this is the flight to Grand Rapids lining up now to take off on runway 8 right.
Delta 2865, RNAV right. Runway 8 right, clear for takeoff.
RNAV, clear for takeoff on 8 right, Delta 2865.
Delta 9003, we're approaching departure here. Hey, is the localizer on? Any chance you could turn it on? Good. I love that thing, so we're just trying to do it.
I know where. Like about a minute to warm up.
Sounds good, thanks.
We'll need a lot of runway to get up there and go to Grand Rapids. And now there's like nothing going on. Let's not say there's nothing going on at the airport, but as far as arrivals in our neck of the woods and departures,
Delta 903 is up and in the green room. Right, line of wait.
nothing's on.
Right. Delta 9003.
Okay, we've got Delta 903 about to go out to Seattle, 737-900. Pasta Chris says Kevin Costner was in Tin Cup, not pushing tin. My mistake. Drew wants to know, how is the TSA line? No problem. Now, of course, I was in the line, let's see, my plane left at 7. I was in the line probably at 5:45 or something along those lines, a.m. So it was only about maybe a 10-minute wait. It wasn't a long line, and I mean the biggest
Ronnie, runway 8 right.
the biggest delay for me was because I'm carrying so much gear, I've got to take it out of take some of it out and put it into a separate bin so that they can make sure I'm not doing anything illegal. All right, here we got, so anyway, I had a fine experience with TSA. Thank you to all of their agents who had to endure another round of not getting paid. Now, of course, as far as TSA goes, your mileage may vary depending on what airport you're at. I know Houston has had a lot of problems in recent weeks. I don't know if that's been cleared up or not. But one of the issues is that a number of hundreds of agents just quit because they had to find another job which paid them money so that they could pay their bills. And who can blame them? You may be wondering why we haven't been showing you a view of downtown Atlanta. Well, as it turns out, downtown Atlanta is in the other direction from what we're looking at. So we can't see downtown, the skyline from where we are. Ryan Paulding loves the ATL. I flew into Atlanta on my way to Nebraska in 05. I would love to do the tourist thing. See Coca-Cola World, the Aquarium.
Delta 903, kind of glad departure.
Maybe not CNN headquarters. I think CNN headquarters is no longer... I think they tore down the building. I think. But in any event, their headquarters, I think, is now in New York. But it was here. And Boatstone wants to know if anybody remembers the movie Ground Control. I don't think I've heard of that one.
Tower American 882 Shell.
882 Atlanta Tower, wind 107, runway 8 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, 8 left.
Got American Flight 882, as you may have heard. It's coming in from Chicago O'Hare Airport. It's in Airbus A319. I'll be here in a minute or two.
Delta 793.
Delta 793, no problem. Hold short over my 8 right, advise.
Okay, we'll do. Hold short 8 right, Delta.
We do, however, have Delta 793 going to Las Vegas, and that's going to be a 757-200. And we are always interested in the 757s. And that engine, that airplane below us, which we were looking at earlier, if you were with us, they had one engine going, and it looked like it was blowing water off the pavement or off the apron below it. Now they're testing the other engine, apparently. So I think we see the vague shadow of the 757 here. It's a 24-year-old plane. Once again, going to Las Vegas, scheduled to go at 9:59, so it's running about 25 minutes late. Before we look at that, let's point down here. We've got an engine in a state of disassembly, or at least they're looking at it. Got the cowl lifted up. I guess doing some maintenance. And then here at this other plane below us, it appears to be engine number 2. The one on the left is running through some cycles. All right, I think the 757 is now moving into position. All right, so Mike says CNN has moved to Midtown Atlanta. The downtown building is undergoing renovation for mixed use. Well, I think that there's the American plane coming in from Chicago O'Hare. I think the Midtown campus is where CNN started, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of has a campus feel, and the centerpiece looks kind of like a mansion. Am I thinking of the right place? I was working in Salt Lake City when CNN went on the air. That would have been 1980 or 81. And I had them dial in our big satellite dish so we could look at the inaugural broadcast of CNN. And Ted Turner was presiding, and they had dignitaries speaking, and they had many bold promises about what the future would hold with a CNN
1457.
The China Airlines Cargo 777 we saw coming in earlier in this broadcast is now pulled away. It's looks like it's headed back to San Francisco from whence it came.
Good evening, Delta 436 with visual 8 left.
Delta 436, my tower, wind 1206, runway 8 left, little one.
Little land 8 left, thanks, Delta 436.
Looks like we've got a Southwest plane coming in from St. Louis, a MAX 8. If our focus will engage. Dish fish. Satcom F3, Walt. I installed a big dish at my folks' home when I was in high school. I always lusted after a big satellite dish. I never had a place. You know, I was back in those days. I was living in apartments, and of course these days you don't need one because everything's on the internet. So I think we're looking there at Concourse T, the domestic terminal. And then we have left to right Concourse A. We're not showing you those. Concourse A, Concourse B, Concourse C, Concourse D, Concourse E. And what is that? It's another terminal or concourse. I don't see it. Oh. The F gates. I'm just looking at a map.
Cross 8 right at Joint Foxtrot over the ground. Have a good evening, Southwest 35.
Well, it's about 10:30, and you're watching Runway DFW Live After Dark from live and direct from Atlanta. Tonight, we're happy you're with us. Yeah, it's kind of an unusual broadcast for us because we've never been to Atlanta before. Well, I've been to Atlanta before to change planes once or twice. I came here for a visit to Atlanta once in the spring in, well, it would have been the late 70s, I think, mid to late 70s. And boy, was it beautiful. I guess it was magnolia season. And it was just, wow. Everything smelled good. Everything was lush and green. Got a Delta 767 300 ER about to touch down from San Francisco, looking like it's coming in on the south side. Let's see if we can take a chance and bring that to you here with our live
Air
cameras.
1522 at left tower, runway 8 left at land with 177.
Haven't used this yet. We've got 3 live
Delta
cameras.
32 Heavy at land tower, runway 8 right, line up downfield.
Isn't that impressive?
Delta 4 base traffic in position at Delta cross 8 right, join Fox traffic ground point 9.
Alright, Delta clear across right, join Fox point 9. Have a good night, Delta 2 go.
Texas Razorback says, I once had an air trans flight out of Atlanta that changed gates 4 times. It was like a track meet chasing the new gates. Well, you know, the last couple of times Mrs. Runway DFW and I have flown out of DFW, we had a similar experience. I think the last time we were traveling, we started off at Terminal D, the international terminal. And I think it moved to another terminal, but before we got there, or before we even started to go there, they switched it over to Terminal A, which required a ride on the airport train. So here's the 767 coming in from the city adjacent to the bay.
Delta 32 RNAV Ronnie, runway 8 right, that's big.
RNAV Ronnie 8 right. Heading out, Delta 32. Tower Delta 656 on the back.
Delta 656, roger. Take it, wake turbulence anyway. There's no just to the buzzer. Yeah, 656, just whip and hold short so you're not blocking
It was Delta Flight 32, 767-400 ER, headed to London Heathrow Airport. It was about a 7.5 hour flight for that plane. I've seen that little critter before on that Frontier tail. I shall now tell you what that was. Leaf the Morlet's tree frog on the tail of that Flight 1522 coming in from Salt Lake City in Airbus A321neo.
Delta 32 heavy contact line 12.
Heavy, good night.
Delta 656 going out to San Francisco
8 right, there you go.
has been cleared for takeoff. It's a 737-900. Well, I know we've only been on the air for about 2.5 hours, but I do
1922.
feel myself flagging at this point
Buffet right at Delta, join Fox.
after a pretty busy day. It was a late night packing because I was doing packing a little differently than I have done it in the past as far as a trip goes. So not seeing any big jets on the radar. I think we're going to call it a day.
So 656 kind of going. Good night.
Good night, Delta 656.
So, this is where I turn to the camera and I say, ooh, my ankle's a little impacted here. I say to you, thank you for watching. First of all, big thanks to our channel sponsor, James Webb, plus our Runway DFW moderators, the Moderation Federation. Thanks to all of you for stepping up tonight on this, and earlier today also for our earlier kind of test broadcast. We'll be back with a live broadcast. I don't think I can do it tomorrow morning because I've got a full day over at the AvCon, but maybe check in with you with the Runway DFW at-large camera to bring you some of the sights and sounds from the Delta Flight Museum and the AvCon event tomorrow. And I think tomorrow evening I've got dinner plans with a couple of pals. So aside from whatever we do at AvCon, we may not have a live airport presentation, but we will be back. I think you can count on Sunday morning here early. We'll try to sneak in a couple of hours before they kick us out here. So thanks for watching, and we will be back with you soon from Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta International Airport. Thank you for watching again, and we'll see you soon on Runway DFW. Does the music work tonight?
This is Warren Barnett speaking for Runway DFW, a Runway DFW production, all rights reserved.